I realized that I was stuck in these feelings. I was stuck in the belief that I had that I think we think, okay, being a mom means I need to make sure they get to every birthday party, even if it kills me. Yeah. But do we want our kids to think that that's what success looks like? You are listening to the Decluttering Club podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Mueller, and it's my mission to equip women to declutter their homes, their time, and their lives so that they can cherish what truly matters. Hello, Decluttering Club. I am here with a very special guest today. We have Julie CW, decluttering coach, and Julie is really known for her work in terms of decluttering as self-care. And today we're going to be talking about creating calm and how you can transform your home and life through decluttering and self-care. I don't know about you guys, but I could use all of the calm I can get. So I can't wait to hear about what you have to say. So Julie, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I think that when I met you, I didn't know that I needed you. And I've learned so much about decluttering, but then when I was on my decluttering journey, I realized the importance of self-care, and I love sharing that with people. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, so before we get into that, Julie, just give us a little bit of background. Tell us where you live, like who you are, all that good stuff.
Okay, so my name is Julie. I live in Canada. I am a mom of 2 teens and a lot of animals. We have 2 cats. We have a bitter dragon and we have a rabbit. We call them the farm. They keep us very busy.
I love the farm.
It is the farm, and they're so cute. And I think that when you have a busy household like that, it can naturally be chaotic. But we found a way to create calm. And one of the things that I want to share is that it wasn't something that came very easily to me, but I remember a person, one of my best friends, was in my house one day, and she said to me, Julie, the energy in here, it's not really your energy, like, what's going on? And so I explained that we were going through some personal things and a separation, and she's like, okay, but this is your space. How do you take it back? And then I really paid attention to what she said, and I did that through color and things that brought me joy. And so I incorporate that into my decluttering. And one of the things when I talk to people is I ask them, how do you feel in your space and how do you want to feel? And almost always everyone says they want to feel calm or organized or peaceful. So that's my mission. So I joined Sarah. I was trained by Sarah, and I started my own decluttering and self-care coaching practice, and the rest is history.
Amazing. I love it. Yeah, I guess that is really interesting, right? You have your kids, you have a busy house, you've got the farm, and yet you always make time for calm, and I love how you've done that.
Yes, so there's a thing that I like to call the 10-minute club. So if you think about it, everyone has heard about like the 75 hard or the 75 soft challenge, right? And you have 75 days, you commit to 5 different things that you do. But it just sounded like not fun to me.
Not fun. It sounds awful.
It sounds awful, right? You're cutting out everything that you enjoy. You're not really nourishing yourself. You are with your food and your movement, but I really felt like I wanted to come up with a way that would nourish people from the inside out. And when we feel supported and when we take time for ourselves, if you think about it, like if you have a cup and all the things that you do for everyone else, you're taking out from the cup. Or if you think of your bank account, every time you do something for someone else, you're making a withdrawal. When you find a mess in your living room, that's a withdrawal. When something stressful happens, that's a withdrawal. But if we're also adding, which I like to call like self-care credits, when you're doing things that nourish and support yourself, then you fill the cup, you build the bank account, you're able to do everything. And they can be very simple things. So I came up with the 10-minute club because the first time I started talking about this, everyone was like, self-care is not for me. What are you talking about? And they would say, I don't want to have a bubble bath. I don't want to drink a glass of wine. I don't want to eat chocolate. And I was like, no, that's not what it is. Like, there's 7 pillars of self-care. And when you think about them and when you learn them, you realize, oh, all the things we do in our daily life are actually self-care. So before I tell you about the 10-minute club, I'm going to give a decluttering example that the school and the club would know. If you think about Kitchen Zero, which is something that we do, do you think about how that actually makes your life better? Yes, I would say, right? Because you leave the kitchen in a way that you can commit to, and then when you come back to the next day, it's ready for you to cook or prepare food or whatever you need to do. So I think of that as all those tasks we do around our home as care tasks that make our life better. But how do we get to the point that we want to do those things even though we need to do them if we're feeling like we're depleted and we're feeling frazzled and we're feeling like it's chaos in our lives? So that's where the 10-minute club came in. And basically, it's something that you can do for yourself. Ideally first thing in the morning, but there's no rules in this 10-minute club, so you can do it at night, you can do it in the afternoon, whenever it works. What I like to do is as soon as I wake up, I like to go and step outside, depending on the weather, but most times I just sit in my egg chair in my garden, I ground my feet in the grass, and I just breathe. Because we don't give ourselves the opportunity to breathe. Like even I'm thinking as I'm talking, I'm so excited to share this that I'm talking so fast and I'm like, Julie, did you breathe? So I take a deep breath and then I start to think about the things that I want to do in my day. I might decide that I want to do something that I really enjoy. I might want to read something. I might want to journal. I might want to meditate. I might want to do some stretching. So the 10-minute ideas are basically something that you do that's just for you before you help anyone else. And the reason why I came up with this and put that one rule, even though I said there's no rules, is because we go through our day doing everything for everyone else. Either people are telling us what we do or we're helping them. Whether you live alone, you live with your family, you live with your animals, you leave your house for a job, you're serving other people in one way. And it's very rare, or I've found in my decluttering journey and with the clients that I'm working with, that we allow ourselves permission to put ourselves first. We think that it's wrong, or we feel guilty, and we think that we need to do things for other people first. What I found is the more we pour into ourselves, the more easily it is to pour into other people. And then,
okay, wait, let's say that again. That was good. Everybody listening? The more we pour into ourselves, I get this right. The more we pour into ourselves, the more we can give back to other people.
Yes, 100%.
Love it.
And if you think about it, that's not taught. Like decluttering isn't taught, right? Like when we first go on this journey and we think, okay, no one really said that you use a container or you use labels or you go step by step. The same is with self-care. I think it's something that we inherently have, but we forget because we're so busy taking care of other people. So, and I think that the more that people truly believe that things like rest is self-care, taking out the recycling is a care task. Because one, you don't want to have a pile up of cans and glasses and garbage and things like that in your hallway or your living room or wherever you have it in your kitchen. But the act of doing something that clears the space for you and also makes it possible for the person that's going to pick up the recycling and doing it ahead of time is a gift. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I used to run out of the house just as I would hear the recycling truck to go and fill my bins, to put it out there, and then I would be resentful for maybe an hour of my day. Because why am I the one always doing this, and why didn't I plan ahead? I think that time management and self-care goes hand in hand. Because when we think about the idea that we're going to do something even for 10 minutes of a time, and we plan it into our day, that's why I like to say the morning, but it can be any time. You've already checked something off your list and you've done something good for yourself.
So what you're saying is that like self-care can be sitting and meditating, it could be reading a book, but also you're seeing things like taking out the trash or, clearing out a cupboard.
Yes.
You consider that self-care.
Yes.
As well.
Because if you think about it, like I'll give you an example of yesterday. So yesterday I was, I was filling out an application with my daughter for something. and I couldn't find her passport, even though I knew I was going to do it and I thought I put it right here on the desk. With all the work I've even done, even I started to think those thoughts that we sometimes have, which are just thoughts, but we don't realize it at the time. And it would have been very easy for me to spiral and think, good moms are organized. Good moms don't lose passports. What I did instead was I grounded myself, I stopped, and I said, wait a minute. That's just a thought. It's a fact that I can't find the passport right now, but the fact that I can't find the passport to fill out the application does not relate to how I am as a mom. It's the same in our space. I might have a messy living room, or I might have children that throw all their stuff on the floor and as soon as they come in the door, but that doesn't mean that they are lazy. Maybe they just didn't think that they need to do it. Or if my living room is messy, that doesn't mean that I'm a bad person or that I'm a mess, which is what I used to call myself. It just means that I'm a person that made the decision that day to not pick up the things that are in the living room. I think that when we think about the things in our space and the things that we do with our time, and we honor that and accept or believe that we made that choice, then we're naming it, and then it doesn't become this scary thing. So if I think about my living room, I made a choice today that I'm not going to tidy up the living room. Tomorrow, I might make the choice that I'm going to tidy up the living room. But when you talk about it that way, you're neutralizing it. I like to think in neutral terms, because then we don't get those highs and lows that impact us. Because what if you're expecting everything to go smooth, you're looking for joy in everything that you're doing, and then something unexpected happens. You're not prepared for it. And then you're stuck, right?
Right. Like, what if good moms have messy rooms sometimes? Like, why not?
Yeah.
Right? What if good moms let the living room go one day? Right? We could decide that, right? Like, and really, it has nothing to do with your living room, right?
No, it doesn't. I think it's like that we're deciding to live. Like, so the whole reason why I called myself Creating Space is because I was tired of living in the shadow of what I wanted because of what I thought I was, right? So,
oh, that's so good. Yes. So now you're actually doing what you want, and you're not worried about what you like. You're not worried about this other imaginary person that you are not worthy of being, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, I found that the key to that was paying attention to my self-care and my care tasks, because when I start to struggle, and when my clients start to struggle, and I ask them, have you done your 10-minute club? Have you done anything for yourself? Are you getting rest? Because rest is a really important part of self-care. Eating, fueling yourself is an important part of self-care. 9 times out of 10, they say no. Because that's the first thing to go. Because if your children need you, if your work needs you, if your animals need you, if your neighbors need you, if you end up having a snowstorm that you weren't prepared for and you need to be shoveling for 4 hours, you give up on all of you. And so my mission or my goal is to remind everyone, women particularly, that you matter and you are worth it. And that we don't have to let go of ourselves so that we can do all of the other things. And this is particularly helpful in the decluttering world because we're already filled with shame. We are the first people that can call ourselves names, that can tell ourselves that we're lazy, that we're unmotivated, that we might as well as just stay in bed, when it's the opposite of the truth. And when you start to build those self-care credits, you start to feel better, and then you want to create those spaces. That is what I have found. Like, people ask me, how did you declutter your space so quickly? And I said 10 minutes at a time, and they're like, no way. And I was like, yes, way, 10 minutes at a time, consistently. So I make the decision that I'm going to do the 10 minutes, regardless of how I'm feeling, because I like to joke. There is no magical unicorn that is going to fly into this room and say, Julie, it's time to declutter. But if I honor the goal or the promise that I made to myself, that's everything. There's this saying by Glennon Doyle that says, if you need to disappoint someone else, don't disappoint yourself. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I really appreciate the whole reframing of the decluttering as self-care. Like, I like how you call them care tasks, right? Like that feels so different as opposed to, oh, I have to clean out the closet. Like that sounds awful, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to do that. But if it's a care task, it's like, ooh,
And that's the thing. Like, if you think about it, like, I think of my old life. I think of, like, the past, and then I think about now. And I think about how if my children were missing birthday parties because I lost the invitation, I didn't know what to wear because my closet was overstuffed. Sometimes I had 3 or 4 mashed potato mashers because I didn't put it away in the same place and I couldn't find it, so I bought another one. It helps you in so many areas. Like, it takes away, so you make a decision to take away the decision, I think, because if you have all of your utensils in one place, you don't have to think. You just know, oh, the utensils are right there. If you go through your closet, even though it might be difficult, and let me tell you, I have like fluctuated in my weight, so I understand this, but what are you taking away from yourself by being afraid to go in the closet or spending 15 minutes trying on things when if we spent 10 minutes every day for a week, that's 70 minutes, you would be able to see your space and pick out maybe 6 of your favorite outfits, have them at the front so the decision is made. You just open the closet and there are things that bring you joy and that you know they fit and you love them. Wouldn't that be easier? And then you have time to do the things. Like, there's a lot of grandparents in my community, and they have time to play with their kids. You have time to go on a date with your husband. You have time to go on a date with someone else. You have time to invite your friends over and not be worried because your house is, and by your house being ready for guests, I think that your house is always ready for guests, but I think that until we work on our mindset and our self-care and care tasks, we don't believe it. Like, there's this idea that when holidays come up or hospitality and people are like, oh, I need to get ready. I need to put out the good towels. I need to put on the sheets. Why don't we do that for ourselves? Why don't we use our candles? Why don't we use the good dishes? Why don't we read that book or open that wine we were saving? Because we get this one life. And I think that's what I learned. So going back to the beginning when my friend said to me, the energy in your house feels off, I realized that I was stuck in these feelings. I was stuck in the belief that I had that I was a hot mess, when really 10 minutes, the decision to spend 10 minutes changed it all. Consistently. I couldn't just do 10 minutes and then, oh, my life is great. But every day, or maybe some days you do 10 minutes, it all counts and it all adds up.
It matters, and it doesn't have to be, it's not a punishment.
Yes.
A lot of people feel like decluttering is a punishment, or it's something awful, right? That they have to do, that they have to like knuckle through. But what you're suggesting is it could be the exact opposite. It doesn't mean it's always easy, but it could actually be like enjoyable, and certainly the benefits are there.
Totally. And if you think about it, you can create joy even in the tasks that you don't really enjoy. So I've mentioned before that I don't like to do laundry. Now I actually like to do laundry because I listen to an audiobook or I listen to a podcast, and I only listen to that particular one when I'm doing the laundry. When I've been working in my garage last year when we did the Scary Spaces, and I was working in my garage, I played my favorite music. So that was fun. I didn't dance. But I did play my favorite music. I think that you can use color, you can use flowers, you can brighten. The idea of spending 10 minutes doesn't have to be a decluttering or organizing. Maybe you go around and you straighten your pillows, you push in all the chairs, you lighten the room by opening the windows. That is all I consider a care task too, because you're doing something for yourself that no one is telling you to do. It's not a rule that you need to do, but when you do it, like, if you think about it, if I had this room and my curtains were closed, it would be really dark. Now it's really bright, just because I'm letting a little bit of the sunshine in. I think that we make it sometimes a little bit harder because we're overwhelmed by the amount of stuff or our to-do list or the way we think things should be, because our mother did it or our grandmother did it or someone told us to do this. But you get to choose. You can do it a little bit differently. And I would say that part of self-care is also embracing B- work. Doing something is 100% better than doing nothing. And in my experience, by adding the self-care in, your B- work actually becomes your A+ work.
Along the way, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful example for our kids, right? If they see, sometimes I think we think, okay, being a mom means I need to make sure they get to every birthday party, even if it kills me. Right?
Yeah.
But do we want our kids to think that that's what success looks like? Like never sleeping and being miserable? I don't think so. I think we kind of want our kids to be able to take time for themselves when they're grown up, right?
Yeah.
We want to do this for them. Now we want to take care of them, but we also want them to learn to take care of themselves. And if we are willing to take care of ourselves, then that's what we're telling them. As soon as you grow up, guess what? You no longer matter.
Oh,
That's a terrible message.
100%.
Yeah.
I like to think that we're teaching our children skills that they can take out into the world. It's nice to think, oh, we're going to keep them, they're going to be little forever, and we're just molding these people. But really, our job is that they're going to go out and do these wonderful things in the world. And I used to think that I had to do everything perfectly, that I had to follow this ABC, this is how I would do it. And then, so my youngest is 14 now, but when she was 12, she said something to me that I will never forget. I was trying to decide if I was going to do something. It was actually writing the chapter in the book.
Yes.
And she said to me, Mom, the thing that I've noticed is that when you do the things that you love or the things that you enjoy, our family works better. So
Nice.
us thinking that we have to do everything for everyone else, when really the people that are in our lives appreciate when we take care of ourselves, and we also show them how to take care of themselves. Now these two children, which are teenagers, they have self-care down pat. I will say that. That is their first thing before they do anything else. But they also know that part of that is, okay, if I don't do my laundry, then I'm going to have to go asking Mom, did you do any laundry? Do you have any socks? If they don't put their dishes away or empty the dishwasher, then when they go to eat again, there's nothing, right? If they don't tell me that they drank the last of the milk or they put it on our list, we're not going to get more milk. So I think they see what we're doing and then they start to adopt it. And then that's, I think, what we want in a generation. We don't want a generation of people that think that we have to do everything for everyone else because...
Or be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want to pass that on. That's crippling. Yeah. So what's something that you've seen, either with yourself or maybe one of your coaching clients, what's one of the coolest things that's happened, just something that's really been very exciting that you've witnessed?
I think the coolest things is that I had one person that I sent her an email and I was going to do this work with me for a month on self-care. And she replied back to me and she said, I just don't understand what self-care is. I want to work with you, but I just don't understand. I have all these things that I need to do. And what are you asking me to do? And even after that first interaction, she wasn't 100% sure. And then she worked with me a couple of times. And now, Sarah, I'm not even joking. She is the first one in one of the communities, or she sees a post that will say to someone, you know what? I think you need to take 10 minutes for yourself. Here's this 10 minutes yoga, or what about you try journaling, or what if you go for a walk, or maybe have you eaten today? And I was like, what just happened? Because
so
it was
awesome.
a complete 360. And then there's the other side too, that sometimes people, they already have their self-care, but they didn't realize that they were doing self-care. And so they had the idea, like most people do, that means, oh, you're going to have a bubble bath, you're going to go to the spa, you're going to drink wine, you're going to eat chocolate, all the things we see in the advertisement. But then when you realize that connecting with friends, having community, having a hobby, decluttering, doing those tasks that you put off, they're all self-care. And people are doing them. So I think just understanding that self-care or care tasks, whatever you want to call it, are accessible and easy, and they really do make a difference.
Yeah. They really make your life so much better. So much better. Yeah.
100%. I also think that sometimes when you're on this journey, you just need someone that is calm and has an empathetic voice too. And with some clients, I have clients that come to me for self-care, and I have some that come with project planning, because I'm kind of known as I'm good at helping people plan project and then get started. And they tell me that it's like having their best friend declutter with them, because I know what it's like, because I was in the place where, a funny story, some of you have heard this before, is when I first started doing this work, I didn't tell a soul. And I made my best friend who introduced me to this not tell any of our friends who were doing it, because I was like, no one needs to know that. But now I can imagine not sharing it with people, because I think about how I was paralyzed almost in self-doubt, not feeling worthy, feeling like I was overwhelmed in my space, in my life, with everything going on. And 10 minutes, it almost seems unbelievable to me that 10 minutes listening to you that first time, and you said to me, Julie, if you have 37 mugs and I have 8 mugs, we're still 2 people, and that's just mugs. And I was like, what? I'm not a disaster because I have 37 mugs? It was that simple. It was really that simple.
Just one step at a time. Yeah,
Yes.
10 minutes at a time. I love it.
10 minutes.
I love it. That is so cool. Okay, so we'll have your links in the show notes, but let people know where they can find you. You have a program. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So I have one thing that'll probably be out when this is out. But if you want to understand a little bit more about the 10-minute club and what I mean about how you can go from chaos to calm in 10 minutes a day, I have a free offer where you get an email from me for 30 days, and I give you a tip and I explain what you're going to do, and it only takes you 10 minutes. Everyone that's done it has loved it. I also have a self-care package, because I love working one-on-one, but people said to me, can I just have you in my pocket? So it's coming out, I think, in 2 weeks, probably when this is going to be aired. And you will get all of the self-care things that I talked about. So you will get a daily worksheet, an AM meditation, a PM meditation, tapping sequence for if you're feeling unworthy, and visualization for motivation.
Nice.
And so I'm very excited about that, because I wanted to be able, thank you. I wanted to be able to help more people. And then I have my group. So if you go to Creating Space with Julie, you can find all the information.
So you're on Facebook, you have the group, and you're on TikTok and Instagram.
I'm on
as well.
TikTok too. So I'm actually going to be starting again my daily series where I give you, we're going to do the 10-minute club live. So I'm going to give an idea. I'm going to share what I'm saying. I do them in 1 minute. So everyone has a minute.
Nice. Amazing. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think you're probably, I have never heard anyone combine self-care with decluttering in the way that you do it. So I just really appreciate your perspective on it. Your unique take. I think it's something that's just so important. And we all could use a little bit more calm, a little bit more peace in our lives. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you soon. That's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this podcast, would you leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts? It would really help us get the word out. To start your decluttering journey, go to thedeclutteringclub.com/start. That's declutteringclub.com/start.